Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome to the Glitched Out Gaming Podcast, your one-stop shop. Well, maybe not one-stop shop, but we're here to talk about the gaming goodness of the past week, and it's actually been a pretty good week for news and such. We can probably thank Comic-Con for a lot of that. But anyways, I am one half of your dynamic duo, the Madman out of Newfoundland. I am Lord X. And joining me, of course, the one, the only, one half of the YouTube Bullet Club, it's Israel Pacheco.
Yes.
We know what Izzy's excited about.
We're starting it off right. What's up, man? How's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good. How about yourself?
Pretty good after the news that we'll get into in a little bit. But, yeah, I'm really excited, so we'll get into that.
Yeah, we got some fun news this week, and of course in our topic of the week this week, we're going to do what we said last week, and, well, last week we talked about the NES Classic, and this week we are going to build the SNES Mini Classic, with some help from some of our friends via Twitter. But before we get to that, before we get to the news stories, it's time to start this show off as we start off every episode of this podcast with what we've been playing. And I don't know about you, Izzy, but it was a slow week for me.
Yeah, same for me. I only got 2 games here on my list.
So what you got for us?
I got Adrift, which I finished it. I talked about it on last podcast, right?
Yep. Like you said it was a Game of the Year contender for you.
Yeah, not anymore. So, it's still a good game, but it kind of wore out its welcome.
Mm-hmm.
The first hour was, like, really impressive, and then kind of after that, it was just more of the same.
Okay.
Not necessarily a bad thing, but it did get kind of repetitive. Mm-hmm. But, still a very unique game. I'd still recommend it. I'm not as high on it as I was before. I did have some technical issues in terms of like frame rate drops and some popping and stuff. I also found out that they are not bringing it to PlayStation VR. That got canceled. So yeah, I'm happy I played it. I did enjoy my time with it. I finished it like right over, what was it, 3 hours or so, I think my total play time was, so it's not that long of a game, but I'd still recommend it for people to check it out.
Cool.
How about you? What you've been playing?
Well, I finished up my first playthrough of XCOM Enemy Unknown Plus for the Vita, so did the final mission in that. Compared to my first time playing it on PC, or even PS3 for that matter, I kind of breezed through the final mission, I guess. Just after playing the game so many times now, it's just second nature. But yeah, it went really well for the final mission for me. I think aside from the one that makes a sacrifice, I only had one other person die on me, and the only reason they died on me was I kind of killed the final boss before reviving him. So a little bit sad because it was a soldier that had been with me since the very beginning. So I was like, oh, you made it so far, buddy, but you couldn't finish the job. But it was alright. It was fun. Glad I finished the game again. I'm probably going to be starting another playthrough of that again very soon. Probably won't focus on it as much as I did with this playthrough, but yeah, I'm looking forward to playing through the game yet again. Probably collect some more of the trophies that I didn't the first time around.
Yeah, it's cool that you're enjoying a second playthrough.
Second, more like that was a third playthrough technically.
Oh, third playthrough. Okay, well,
PC,
not too bad then.
Vita.
It's cool. It holds up that it holds up then basically, which is a good thing because a lot of times you go back to older games and they don't live up to your memories of it. But that's good to hear.
And it's just getting me more excited for XCOM 2, which is basically just a month away now. Probably a little more because I'm ordering from Amazon.
Is it early September or late August?
Early September. September 2nd or 3rd, I can't remember. But by the time it gets here, it'll probably be like September 15th for me when I get my copy.
Okay, makes sense. All right, so my second game is Ghostbusters, the video game.
No.
Not that one.
Oh, the good one.
The Atari one from 2009.
Yay! The third movie, basically.
Yeah, basically. After seeing the latest reboot a few days ago, I decided to re-download Steam and re-download this game, which was in my library, which I had purchased a little while ago. And I started playing it earlier today, and it's pretty good. It's great that they have the original cast reprising their roles. It's also written by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis, so it makes sense within the universe. The jokes are funny, like the chemistry's there between the cast. It's cool that you play like a new rookie to the Ghostbusters team, and they don't even give you a name because they think you're just going to end up getting killed, basically, either by some of the equipment malfunctioning or getting killed by a ghost, basically. So it's pretty funny. At first, the controls, it's kind of weird controlling the proton pack and stuff. It kind of felt a little difficult, but then you get I noticed you get upgrades and stuff that stabilize the proton pack, so it seems like they did that intentionally. So at the beginning, you are a rookie, so you feel like you don't have as much control, but as you gain progress through the game, you could get new upgrades to stabilize the proton pack and other things. I'm still early on. I'm at the Sedgwick Hotel right now. I've already captured Slimer. I'm pretty sure I caught Slimer by now, but I'm at the part where after this pirate ghost basically shows up, and then there's a interdimensional thing going on, so the hotel starts to get mixed with basically the ocean. It's really weird. There's water everywhere, and then there's what do you call that? I was gonna say crustaceans, but no, that's not the way. That's not the right term. The stuff underwater. Damn it! I can't think of the rock formations underwater. There's a specific term for that. I can't think of it. I just went blank.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Coral.
Coral,
That's what it is. Yeah, there's coral and sand and stuff, and then you hear the guys talking to you. Oh, there's this Did you tell them about the interdimensional rift or something like that? And I was like, oh, this is unique. I haven't seen this in the Ghostbusters films previously, so it's kind of new to the game series. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm looking forward to getting through more of it and see what other locations they have, which I've heard they have the library from the first film, and then they have some newer locations and all that stuff. But so far it's good. It's pretty good. I'm not blown away by it, but it's definitely a game that's from 2009, so... Yeah. It is 7 years old at this point, but it holds up pretty well. So
that's awesome.
I'm digging it. Yeah,
I'm glad you're enjoying it. That was a really fun game back in the day. God, it's saying back in the day for 2009. Jesus.
Back in the day, way back in the day.
And the new movie was pretty good too. Fuck the haters.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It was good. I enjoyed my time. I might go see it again, actually. Maybe. I'll probably buy it when it comes out too. But I enjoyed it.
The final game for me, I've been playing a little bit more Parasite Eve. Not very far. I'm in Central Park right now, going through, I think the zoo area. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. I'm heading to the next big setup for the villain. Again, fun game. I still think it holds up fairly well. I mean, it's almost 20 years old now, so...
Yeah.
But still, it's quite fun. I definitely recommend it if you've never played it before.
I haven't played any of those games in the Parasite Evil series. I know there's 3, right?
Yep.
1, 2, and then the third birthday, is it?
Yep.
The PSP game?
Yep.
Yeah, for whatever reason, survival horror, I just missed the whole boat on that during the PlayStation generation. I didn't play any of the Resident Evils. I didn't play Silent Hill. I didn't play Parasite Eve, any of the other games either. It wasn't until way later that I did for whatever reason. But yeah, it's good that it still holds up pretty well.
Yep. Alright, so with that, it's time to dive into the news. And something that Izzy alluded to earlier. Izzy, I know you're itching to talk about this one. Oh my god.
I've watched this trailer over 10 times. Like, there's 2 trailers to talk about. Mm-hmm. But the first trailer that we're going to talk about, I've watched over 10 times, and it gets me every single time. Jesus. So basically, Sega just had a 25th anniversary party for Sonic the Hedgehog this past weekend over at San Diego Comic-Con. And they announced 2 brand new games. The first one that we're going to discuss is called Sonic Mania.
Oh, yeah,
brother. Oh, yeah, brother. Sonic Mania, which is a brand new now I'm getting thrown off by the Hulkamania. 2D Sonic adventure that's going to be coming out on PS4, Xbox One, and PC spring 2017. Oh, it's so amazing. Like, this trailer is like one of the best trailers I've ever seen, because it just shows like Sega's like finally starting to get it. Like, I actually wrote down what they say in the trailer. I'm gonna read it real quick. So here we go. In 1991, one hedgehog changed the world, and for 25 years he's collected countless rings. But now, as we move forward to discover what made Sonic a gaming icon, we're going back. And they are going back, and they say after that, this is where it begins. And you see the footage of Sonic Mania, and it's a brand new 2D game. It looks exactly like a Genesis title, so it's basically what Sonic 4 kind of should have been.
Yep.
And it looks amazing, and from what I've read, they got people from the Sonic fan community involved with this project, and they're people who basically do like hacked versions of the original Sonic games and make their own versions. So it's awesome that they're really tapping the community for this, that really know what they love about Sonic the Hedgehog, which is the 2D titles in the franchise, which are the most highly regarded ones, I would say, in the whole franchise on the Sega Genesis. And just how they presented this and the footage that they had of Sonic pretty much going forward throughout his history, and then they start, rewinding, and then they didn't read, but they had text bubbles in the video of what I just read of this dialogue, and it was so perfectly done. Even just the music at the beginning, it starts off slow. It sounds like, a game of the Genesis era, and then it speeds up, and they kind of remix it and speed it up, and it sounds amazing, like the people that are working on the music for this game. So I'm so excited about this. Like I said, I've watched this trailer over 10 times at this point, and I thought that was it. I thought that was all we got for Sonic, and no, apparently we got another trailer for Sonic Project 2017, or I should say Project Sonic 2017, which is coming out on PS4, Xbox One, NX, and PC holiday 2017.
So we know now that the NX has at least 2 games coming for it. Just Dance and Sonic.
So far, yeah. And that's coming, like I said, holiday 2017. And they showed off the trailer for this. And they're back to modern but classic Sonic. It's kind of hard to say. What I'm trying to say is they just completely dismiss like the Sonic Boom character model of Sonic, which is awesome. They just went to like the modern Sonic, and you're going through the stage in the trailer, and then out of nowhere you see classic Sonic. So it's pretty much a successor to Sonic Generations in terms of switching back. Yeah, that's what it seems like. They've said that it isn't Sonic Generations in terms of its theme of, replaying through old Sonic stages, like it's a brand new experience. But that whole mechanic of switching back and forth between classic and modern Sonic seems to be there so far from what we saw. I don't know if what they showed briefly of the 2D sections was actual in-engine gameplay, or if it was just, pre-rendered stuff like the rest of the video, but that also looked awesome, and it's what people wanted. Like, the last, high-quality Sonic game, in my opinion, was Sonic Generations. Like, Lost World kind of lost its way, pun intended, and then Sonic Boom I didn't play because I heard it was atrocious. But they've gone back to what worked in terms of the more modern games, and then what worked in the past with the classic 2D games. So it just it seems like Sega's finally listening. They really took it to heart, the reception that Sonic Boom had, and they had said about a year ago something. We probably talked about it on the podcast. Like they were, not working on so many IPs, and they were trying to get quality out of their IPs instead of just putting out software out there. So it seems like they're listening.
Yeah.
And all this looks promising. I'm excited for both of them. And it's funny, spring 2017 for Sonic Mania, just another game in spring 2017. Like, we needed another one, but...
This is probably going to be like a $15 title, though.
Yeah, I don't see it being too much. Even if it's like $30 or more, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it right away, but it looks awesome. Yeah. I'm excited for both of these announcements, to be honest.
I'm definitely excited for Sonic Mania. Project Sonic 2017, I'm a bit more cautious about, let's just say that. I mean, Generations was good. I never played Colors. I did find it funny, though, that in the trailer they were like, from the people that brought you Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations.
And then they showed Sonic Team.
How about
Shadow the Hedgehog? Yeah, Shadow the Hedgehog and all that, which was done by Sonic Team.
Yeah.
So it was just funny. I actually saw some videos of people's reactions, like live reactions of the people there.
Yeah.
And they like lost it for the Sonic Mania stuff. Like all the stuff, like reading the dialogue, and then that part of the trailer where they're like, and 3 playable characters, and they show Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and everybody just loses their mind because it's none of the extra garbage like Big the Cat and all that superfluous
I still want my
stuff.
Big the Cat fishing game. God,
they made a joke about it too. Like right before they started the trailer, they're like, "Oh, would you guys be as excited if I said Big the Cat Fishing Adventure 3 or something?" And then like they were like, "Boo." And then the guy that I guess he's the community manager for Sonic over at Sega was like, well, yeah, some fans are actually working on that. So there is going to be a Big the Cat fishing game by fans. So for those of you who want it, I sure as hell don't. But this is just very exciting for a franchise that has been all over the place for the last 25 years. It's highs, super lows, and it's nice to see that there seems to be more focus as to what they're actually doing and focus on quality, but we'll see. Time will tell.
Could be Sonic's redemption.
All
right, so moving on to our next news story, which has me extremely excited, like over the top. The trophies popped up randomly like a week or so ago, just like fueling my excitement, because this was rumored way back as well, because it got, I think, leaked from the ESRB or whatever. But this coming Tuesday, tomorrow, after this podcast goes up, July 26th, launching on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2, two of the absolute best Marvel games ever created, in my opinion. The first one more so than the second one. Second one, still great, though. Got the Platinum Trophy in that. Carnage was added as DLC. I could fanboy over that game so much. But yeah, these two games are coming out this Tuesday with improved performance, some UI and graphics enhancements, trophies and achievements. This is fucking awesome, and they'll cost $39.99 each or $59.99 together. That's USD, so not sure about the Canadian price of those. Probably $70, unfortunately, for the bundle. But yeah, I'm thrilled that these games are coming out now for the PlayStation 4. This may be a spontaneous buy for me that I shouldn't do this Tuesday, but yeah, like the first game is such a good, like, absolute love letter to the Marvel Universe, where you're fighting all kinds of villains from Doctor Doom to Galactus to Arcade, just like so many obscure villains and characters that you'll encounter in this. It's just awesome, and if you enjoy Marvel Heroes on PC and you've never played the Ultimate Alliance games, absolute recommendation from me for these two. They're great. And Ultimate Alliance 2 focused on the Civil War storyline. It's great. It's just great.
Yeah, it's cool that this is happening until I hit the brakes when I saw the prices, to be honest. I thought it was going to be a lot cheaper. I was expecting them to be like...
It's from Activision, so what else do you expect?
I expected them to be like $20 a pop or a bundle for like $20, $30, but they are expensive. I did play one of them. I can't remember if it was one or two I had rented a long time ago on 360, and then after they lost the license, these games kind of disappeared from the digital storefronts and all that, which happened like a few years ago. Now that I see this, though, I sure as hell hope we get X-Men Origins Wolverine Uncaged edition. Like, I will buy that game again. I played through that game like 3 times. That game, oh man, I remember that summer getting that game. It was so much better than the movie. So that's what I'm excited about, this announcement, to see if they do more re-releases of older games, in the Marvel franchise.
Games on there.
Yeah, that would be cool if they do that too, through like, even if it's just through the PlayStation,
PS2 and PS4.
PS2 classics, or we could see more of those. Bring Spider-Man 2 to PS2 classics. Bring Ultimate Spider-Man to PS2 classics, which I think is really underrated. Like, a lot of people don't bring that one up. They always bring up Spider-Man 2. I preferred Ultimate Spider-Man, but that was just me.
Yep.
But cool. It seems like Marvel's trying to, pluck the best games in the Marvel franchise. It isn't like they're re-releasing some garbage. These games were like, well-reviewed, well-liked by the fans of these style of games. So alright, so moving on from Marvel, let's talk a little bit about Final Fantasy, specifically Kingslave, which is the film prequel, if I'm not mistaken, to Final Fantasy 15. It's going to be hitting digital storefronts on August 30th, which is a little over a week after it hits theaters in the U.S. on August 19th, which I'm surprised it's actually going to be hitting theaters.
Yeah.
And they said the DVD and Blu-ray version is going to be coming out on October 4th. So, there's been a lot of anticipation for this since, Aaron Paul, Sean Bean, and Lena Headey are voice actors in this film, which is kind of strange because they aren't in the game. So I don't know how that's going to work out. But it's cool that we finally getting to release it on this. It's pretty soon, right around the corner. I'm interested to see how this does, how it's received by the Final Fantasy community. We'll see. We'll see how it does. I don't know if I'll go see it myself. Maybe I'll just wait till the digital download and buy it then. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I've got the limited edition of the game pre-ordered, so I get a Blu-ray copy of the movie there. So.
Oh, okay, that works.
Yeah. All right, time for our final news story. Also from Square Enix, Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration edition and PlayStation 4 release date finally announced. The new content will also be available for Xbox One and PC players, just a note before we move on. So, the game will be coming to PlayStation 4 on October the 11th, because October doesn't have anything else yet. Fuck you, Square Enix. I'll have to wait till November, maybe. But, the Rise of the Tomb Raider will arrive on PlayStation 4, and it will include all the content from the Season Pass, which means the Baba Yaga Temple of the Witch, Cold Darkness Awakened, and all DLC outfits, weapons, and expedition cards will be included. An art book will also be included for anyone who pre-orders. God damn it, that's actually kind of tempting to pre-order it. The 20-year celebration edition will also include a new Extreme Survivor Ultra Hard difficulty for the main campaign, as well as 3 new pieces of playable content. The first is Blood Ties, a combat-free, narrative-focused story in which Laura explores the Croft Manor to discover new information about her family. PlayStation 4 will exclusively offer PlayStation VR support, which means a day one buy for Izzy, for Blood Ties, which is played in first person with the headset, as opposed to the standard third-person perspective. A separate zombie-filled combat chapter, because every game needs zombies these days, Laura's Nightmare, will also be set in the mansion and sees Laura fighting enemies in a hellish version of her family home. The final new mode in the 20-year celebration edition is a new co-op version of Endurance Mode, in which players attempt to survive for as long as they can while keeping track of warmth and hunger meters. The longer you last, the more experience you'll earn. But if you don't manage to successfully reach an extraction point and escape, you'll lose everything. Finally, classic polygonal Lara Croft models will be available to play as in Expedition modes, as well as new cold weather outfit inspired by Tomb Raider 3. Anyone who purchased Rise of the Tomb Raider Season Pass on Xbox One or PC will receive all the content above, minus the PlayStation VR support, which would be funny if that came to Xbox One, for free on October the 11th. The content will also be included in the Season Pass, along with all the previous content for anyone who purchases it moving forward. The new content will also be available for... God, they just repeated themselves over and over there. But yeah, anyway, cool, we finally got a release date.
In the worst month ever.
Yep. The one odd month where I'm buying 3 Vita games.
Yeah, but this is actually cool that they're doing this whole celebration thing, bringing the content to people who had the Season Pass on Xbox One and PC. It's really cool.
Yep.
For no additional cost. Packing it in for all the people on PlayStation that didn't play this because they didn't have an Xbox One or a PC. The bonus chapter of going into Lara Croft's mansion, her manor, that's awesome. Like that sells me on this. Not only because it's in PlayStation VR, but just going back to that mansion, which was like one of the highlights of Tomb Raider 2 back in the day on the original PlayStation. So it's funny, like the Easy Allies podcast like called this, I believe, in one of their episodes. They were like, how could they get you to, buy the game again or whatever was like one of the questions, and then they brought it up. It was either Easy Allies or it was Frame Trap, but one of their podcasts they brought it up, and they were like, a mission in in Lara Croft's mansion, pretty much. So it's really awesome. I am gonna rebuy this so I can play the PlayStation VR Blood Ties experience. We'll see how good it is and if it delivers or not. I never finished it on Xbox One, even though it was like one of my most anticipated games of the year last year, and I never finished it on Xbox One. I might go back and then play through it or whatever, but another thing to call out is this cover right here, which is a straight ripoff of the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection cover. The silhouette of Lara is just like the silhouette of Nathan Drake from the Nathan Drake collection, which is pretty funny. I even saw Neil Druckmann make a comment about that, which I think he said, like Trump's wife, when the speech happened, that she like plagiarized, the first lady's speech or whatever. But he was making fun of that.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be awesome. I was not expecting this whole PlayStation VR experience. I don't know if it's going to last like half an hour, however the case may be. Just going back to that manner. And I've heard like there's like also that mode that's kind of like a survival horror type of thing with like it sounds interesting. Like it's cool that they're doing this and they're packaging all of it in for the PlayStation 4 players.
Yep, very cool.
I'll definitely be buying this day one just for the VR stuff. So,
like I said, I'll probably pick it up in November, maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think what I'm gonna buy in November. I don't think there's anything. Like everything is like loaded.
SNES Classic.
Oh, you mean NES Classic?
Yeah. Yeah, right. I'm getting excited for our topic of the week.
Transition.
That's right, folks. It's time to dive into our topic of the week. I've been itching and excited to do this because this is going to be really fun, I think, and just a really big old trip down memory lane. Like I said earlier, we are going to build the SNES Mini Classic with 30 games that we want to see on it. Now, of course, I asked the Twitter to give us some suggestions. Some friends did. We do have some of those on the list already, but we have 16 open slots left, and we're going to go back and forth choosing 8 each with a little description of why we want them there. But first, we're going to go over the 14 I've already put on here from our friends. 2 of which I did not put on here yet, but if we want to include them, one of us could put them on here.
Okay.
So, first off, our friend Lavitz from Outlaws Gamer Society chimed in and said to go for some not-so-obvious titles, Power Rangers the movie, Rock and Roll Racing, and NBA Jam. Devil May Pie suggested Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, Super Metroid, Super Mario World, Yoshi's Island, Mega Man X, Zelda, Link to the Past are all essential. Tim, a.k.a. Helion, a.k.a. the Friday Night Fight champion right now, suggested F-Zero, Star Fox, Mario Kart, Super Star Wars, and The Magical Quest. And our dear friend Ozzy Legend chimed in with 30 copies of Lufia 2. Sorry, Ozzy, just one. So far on the list, we have NBA Jam, Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, Super Metroid, Super Mario World, Yoshi's Island, Mega Man X, Link to the Past, F-Zero, Star Fox, Super Mario Kart, Rock and Roll Racing, Lufia 2, and Super Star Wars. Which I think we can agree on, those are really good suggestions to put on here.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I've never
they make
played...
sense. Like the Power Rangers one, I think would be stuck in licensing hell.
Yeah. Though I think the same kind of could be said of NBA Jam and maybe Super Star Wars as well. Even though that got released on PS4 recently, so it's possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it got re-released, so I could see that happening with that one.
Alright, so it's time to start with number 15 on the list, and I've got a couple in mind. Do you have something in mind if you want to go first, Izzy?
Yeah, I got 3 for you.
Oh, okay.
Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3.
One at a time. You can only pick one at a time, man.
Okay. But I guess it would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just a series of games.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll pick 1.
Alright. So why Donkey Kong Country 1?
Because it's awesome. It's one of the most like how would I put it? It's one of the best-selling games on the Super Nintendo. It was a reboot to the Donkey Kong franchise. It was during Rare's heyday when they were really putting out super quality stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was in a special place because it was, the background with and the character models, the Silicon graphics and all that stuff. It was kind of competition for the Sega Genesis, showing like, oh, the Super Nintendo could do this, and then they ended up doing their own version with I can't remember the name. I'm thinking of the image right in my head of the character Vector Man. Mm-hmm. Like Sega did Vector Man in response to Donkey Kong Country, basically. But excellent soundtrack, fantastic, excellent gameplay, super charming.
Excellent choice. All right, for my first pick, I am going to go with one of the best fighting games ever. God, I sunk so many hours into this game back in the day. Super Street Fighter 2, The New Challengers.
Okay.
This, I think, is one of the definitive fighting games ever made. So, yeah, I think it's only right that we get Super Street Fighter 2 here on the list.
Yeah, I'm surprised that, well, there's a bunch of different versions. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of hard to pick. There's the World Warriors, like the first one, then there's Turbo, all these different ones. So, yeah, good pick though. Good pick. Definitely one of the iconic games from that era. You have to have a Street Fighter game in here to represent the fighting game genre.
Yep.
And it was a huge seller on Super Nintendo too.
Oh, so. Definitely, yeah.
Okay, my next one. I know you probably have it on the list, but it's probably one of the more obvious ones just for its value alone, and that is Earthbound.
Yeah.
Like, it would make sense to put something like this that's so highly regarded, plus so highly valuable in terms of like the original Super Nintendo cartridge and finding a complete in-box version and all that stuff. They did release it on Virtual Console, so it makes sense that they could put it in here and just license that out somehow. I've personally never played it, but I know a lot of people who would want to play it, myself included, if it was in one of these SNES collections. It just makes sense, like, to put some of these rare, more obscure games on in this package, basically, to entice people. Like, hey, you've never played Earthbound? It's hundreds of dollars to get a cartridge. It is on the eShop, but yeah, this would come out to be cheaper than the eShop version when you look at it, if it's priced the same as the NES, mini.
Yep, and the SNES was one of those games that had a ton of great JRPGs, and we have 3 here already besides Earthbound: Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, and Lufia 2. So, yeah, I think the SNES Classic would be a great place to dump like a bunch of RPGs for people.
Yep.
Alright, well, you mentioned obscure, so my next pick is going to be one of those absolutely obscure games. I think I ended up getting this from like a dollar store back in the day or something like that. Anyway, it was like really weird. I don't even know why I wanted it, to be honest with you, but yeah, so growing up, I never really saw many people talking about this game, but that was back like in the early days of the internet, so that wasn't happening. But over the course of like recent years, like, found out that this game was actually pretty popular, and that's Zombies Ate My Neighbors, which is a
good choice.
Really quirky, like out of left field shooter, I guess you could call it, top-down shooter type deal. But yeah, really fun game, and I think would really be a good choice to put onto this mini console if it ever happens.
Yeah, I know. I know my buddy Carlos would agree with that. I still haven't played that game, even if I bought it. I ended up giving it to him, to be honest. But yeah, good choice. I've heard a lot of good things about it through Carlos. I've never played it myself, but yeah, good choice.
Thank you.
My next one here, I did mention it earlier by cheating, and that is Donkey Kong Country 2. It needs to be on here because it's just, in my opinion, it's a step above the original Donkey Kong Country in terms of everything, in terms of level design, in terms of gameplay, in terms of soundtrack, everything. It's just a great sequel to the original Donkey Kong Country. And that's where it ends. I'm not going to put Donkey Kong Country 3. Screw that game. The fat ape, baby ape, get out of here.
Yeah, I remember that game being oddly disappointing. Like the world map, though. That was fun, but...
Yeah, that was cool. But, yeah, we'll leave it at Donkey Kong Country 2.
Alright. We need a little bit of, why did they put this on here type deal? And my next choice is going to go to Shaq. No, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, that was a close one.
I'm going to go with SimCity 2000. Like, I enjoy it. This was like my first introduction to SimCity back in the day, and God, I remember like struggling as a kid trying to like make a city work, and how the hell I was supposed to do anything into this game. But it was fun, and just like causing the disasters after building something up was always like a bit of a joy to do.
Mm-hmm. All right, next one's an obvious one for me. Turtles in Time, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Arguably one of the best beat 'em ups, if not the best beat 'em up on the Super Nintendo. Just makes perfect sense to round out the diversity of the list to put some beat 'em ups on here. Fantastic soundtrack, excellent gameplay. The Turtles are still popular today, so that could be something, you know, some kid at the store sees the list of games like, oh, Ninja Turtles, and it kind of grabs their attention. So it works all around.
Yep, definitely agree with that. Alright, the next choice, I think we need another Nintendo mainstay on this list. We've got a lot of third party here right now.
Yeah.
So my next pick for this list, Pilot Wings.
Oh, interesting pick.
Not really a great game by any means, but it's one of those, you know, franchises from Nintendo from back in the day.
Yeah, it was one of the launch titles, if I'm not mistaken, right? That
sure,
and
yeah.
Super Mario World.
Yeah.
I'm looking through the list here so I don't repeat anything anybody else has said so far. Yeah, because they've kind of hit the big ones so far. I'm trying to think. There has to be something that's missing here. It's not so obvious. Yeah, I was gonna say Killer Instinct, but that's not gonna happen because that's owned by Microsoft now.
Yeah.
But hey, let's throw in the original Mortal Kombat or Mortal Kombat 2. I know that's kind of cheating, but one of the two. So I'm not gonna pick
a collection as well.
There might have been, but I think that might be like a licensing issue to have like all games in one thing. But let's go with Mortal Kombat 2. Let's do that. Mortal Kombat 2. They finally got the blood in there after their mistake for the original Mortal Kombat. Yeah, let's go with 2. That works. Mortal Kombat 2, another fighting game on this list.
Definitely a good choice.
So we already got Street Fighter on here, so we got to put some Mortal Kombat.
Yep. All right, my next choice. We only got NBA Jam yet as a sports game. We need another sports game on this list. And I'm talking about the greatest hockey game ever made. NHL 94. A game that defined hockey. So damn good they actually brought it back on one of the later games in recent years. So yeah, NHL 94. Fuck the licensing rights.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. Let me write that down. NHL 94. That's pretty funny. Let's see. What do you got here next that hasn't been picked yet?
Into the final 3 picks each.
Let's go with this one. We do have a game in this style, but they hadn't moved. Now this one was still. That's like me talking to myself. Yeah, because Super Metroid is different to this. They hadn't moved over to the Metroidvania style yet. So let's put in Super Castlevania 4 on the Super Nintendo. So gotta have a Castlevania game on this list. And it's still, one of the traditional games, so it isn't. They hadn't moved to Metroidvania yet, so it works. It's not. It doesn't overlap with Super Metroid.
Okay, good choice. I think it's time to dive back into the really obscure games that are, celebrated and really fun for the people who know how to play them. And I was introduced to this in recent years from Pro Jared and from Awesome Games Done Quick, and that is Pocky and Rocky.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about this.
I've never played it myself. It's, I think, one of those hard-to-find games, but yeah, it looks really fun. It's a... it's a shmup, basically.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, yeah.
But yeah, it's really cartoony, really fun looking, and we need more co-op games on this list. So yeah, Pocky and Rocky, that's number 26 from me.
Yeah, that's true. We don't have that many co-op games. Quickly just moving around here real quick. We already... I thought we had... I just keep checking to make sure, like... we haven't talked about this one yet, but one that I remember playing back in the day, I don't know, that might be an issue in terms of licensing. But that is Earthworm Jim.
Ooh.
I remember playing that one back in the day. I don't know if there's going to be issues with licensing or whatever, but yeah, let's go with that one. Earthworm Jim.
Me likey that pick. That is really good. God, I sunk so many hours into that game. Cursed so much on that game. Alright, I'm actually looking through the list here right now and trying to find something. Wow, I'm seeing some games here bringing back some memories. Games that do not deserve to be on this list at all. And hey, Izzy, I didn't know you went for the Olympic rings back in the day with Izzy's quest for the Olympic rings. How'd that work out for you?
Not too good, I guess.
Alright, okay, I found one here I had fun with back in the day, and wow, this was from Mirrorsoft and Kemco back in 1992. I had this game. It was a fun puzzle game, and that's Kablooey! Which, God, I think me and my brother played that game for hours upon hours trying to get through it. Like, the early stages, not too bad. The later stages, mind-numbingly painful to get through.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one, to be honest. Alright, so we do have one of these games on the list, but it's technically not in the same series, and it's pretty expensive as far as I know. That is a Mega Man 7.
Ooh.
One of the more rare games on the Super Nintendo. One of the late releases in 95. After that, they moved over to the PlayStation with Mega Man 8. So yeah, let's go with Mega Man 7 to have a, kind of a counterpoint to Mega Man X.
Alright, good stuff, good stuff. The final game, what to choose, and I'm looking through this now. There's so many here we could go with. I mean, Mario is missing. Who would want to play that game again? Right? How about Mario's Time Machine? That fun adventure.
God, how about Mario Paint? That's okay, actually.
Well, they have to come with a mouse, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. God, I honestly don't know. There's a few obscure ones here that I kind of like to go with, like Syndicate or Yeez. But, God, I'm kind of at a loss here right now. What to put on this game for the final thing here on the SNES Mini. We could go with Pac-Man 2, The New Adventures. Everybody loves that one too, doesn't they?
I must be missing one. What number are we up to?
We're up to number 30 here.
Oh, we are? Man, I must have missed some in between then, because I'm like at 27. I don't know what happened. Whoops.
God. Let's see here. We could go with another Final Fantasy game, but I think one of those is pretty good for the list. We got the best one, so. Alright, I got it. We're going to go with another beat-em-up game. This time coming from Capcom. We haven't seen one of these games in a long time. And, God, there's 3 here to pick from. I don't know which. Let's go with the middle one. Maybe I'm wrong with this. It's been a very long time since I've played any of these. Final Fight 2.
Cool. Cool pick. Yeah, I was looking at beating him up myself over here, but yeah, that's a good pick to round out the list.
Mm-hmm. All right, so our final list consists of the following. Just get everything centered here. NBA Jam, Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, Super Metroid, Super Mario World, Yoshi's Island, Mega Man X, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, F-Zero, Star Fox, Super Mario Kart, Rock'n'Roll Racing, Lufia 2, Super Star Wars, Donkey Kong Country, Street Fighter 2, The New Challengers, Earthbound, Zombies Ate My Neighbors, Donkey Kong Country 2, SimCity 2000, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, Pilot Wings, Mortal Kombat 2, NHL 94, Super Castlevania 4, Pocky and Rocky, Earthworm Jim, Kablooey, Mega Man 7, and Final Fight 2. For $60, I think that would be an incredible deal.
Yeah, that
based on the JRPGs alone, that would be an incredible
this
deal.
Craps on the NES Mini. It really does. If they do a Super Nintendo Mini,
oh man,
it's gonna destroy the NES Mini. This is a day one buy for me, but
if they went with this list, hell yeah.
Yeah, this is a good list. It's a really good list, to be honest. Some of the greatest games of all time are on here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really good list.
So Nintendo, Reggie, if you're tuning in, make this happen. Day one purchase from both of us.
Yep.
Alright, so that pretty much wraps it up for this episode. We do have some questions and comments, which I just remembered and were listed on the last episode, which I didn't write in.
Whoops.
Of course, it comes from our good buddy Aaron B., who writes, I started and finished Berserk 1997 anime this month and couldn't be more excited for the game. It's the darkest anime I've ever seen and I love it. I'm also with Izzy on the Telltale Batman game. I see that they have improved their graphics a little like they said they would, but I'm just so burnt out on these games. I never finished The Walking Dead Season 2 or Game of Thrones because they're just so similar. From the cringe-inducing animations to the choices that don't really matter. And like Lord X says, God, butchered my own name there, their release schedule needs a lot of work. If anything, I'd wait for the retail release.
Yeah, good point. Also, another thing to note, during their Comic-Con panel, the game crashed on them. And they had to relaunch it. This was the one that Greg hosted, the playthrough of it, of the first episode, and they were running it on a PC, and it decided to crash on them.
Well, there you go. If they ran it on a Vita, it would run smoothly.
Oh, man, I can't believe it. We always make fun of them. I can't wait to hear like what Colin has to say about that, because he's going to bring it up to Greg.
Yeah, tomorrow's Colin Greg Live is going to be great for that.
That's going to be so funny. But, yeah, good points, though, about the game. I'm interested, but I think, like you, I'm just going to buy the first episode, try that out, see how it is, instead of dropping, $25?
Yeah. If you pre-order now, you can get The Wolf Among Us for free, which I already own. Thanks, Telltale.
Yeah. Don't need it.
Yeah. But anyways, folks, that pretty much wraps it up for our podcast. So, Izzy, I'm going to turn it over to you to get us the hell out of here.
Alright, let us know in the comment section down below your thoughts on any of the news that we discuss, on any of the games we've been playing, on our suggestions, and your suggestions for the Super Nintendo Mini. Let us know, what do you think about the new Sonic games? Are you a Sonic fan? Do you not care anymore? Have they burnt you out too much? Let us know what you think about Activision and Marvel re-releasing some of these classic games in their franchise, in their back catalog, I should say. Your thoughts on the Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration, Kingslave, Final Fantasy 15. Are you going to check that out? And for Lord X, I am Izzy, aka Israel Pacheco 89, and we are glitching out.
Remember, folks, keep hitting that lever.